Hello, sir. Hello, classmates. So, yung gagawin ko ngayon is yung optimizing performance for database in instances part 1. So, first, punta tayo sa first CPU and search for developing SQL databases. Click Start. Click Next. Power on the Plub SQL 01. Exercise 1. Working with Team DB database. The TIP DB is a system database that stores all types of database objects such as user-defined tables, indexes, global and local temporary tables, and so on. The TIP-DB database does not allow you to perform certain tasks. Some of them are as follows. Backup or restore the database from the drop the database, set the database to offline mode, rename the database. Task 1. Configure the DB database to optimize the performance. In this task, you will perform the following operation by executing certain system queries in the TempDB database. View the size of the TempDB database in the file growth parameters. Monitor the disk space of the TempDB database using the system dm underscore db underscore file underscore space underscore usage dynamic management view. Determine the amount of free space in the TeamDB database. Determine the list of active transactions and the longest running transaction in the database. Step 1. Ensure you have powered on the required devices and connect to PlubSQL 01. Step 2. From the PlubSQL 01 desktop, click Start and click Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. The Connect to Servers dialog box appears. From the server type drop-down list, click Database Engine. In the server name text box, type PlubSQL 01, click Connect. Click Microsoft SQL Server 2016. Click Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. Click Connect. Step 3. The SQL Server Management Studio windows opens. In the Object Explorer, click to expand the databases folder. Step 4. To select the database from the list of databases, click to expand System Databases. Right-click TempDB and from the context menu, Properties. Step 5. The Database Properties TempDB dialog box appears. In the left pane, under a select page, click Options. Click OK to close the dialog box. Step 6. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. The new query pane opens. Step 7. To run the query, click Execute or press F5. Step 8. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. Step 9. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. Step 10. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. Step 11. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. Step 12. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. Step 13. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. To run the query, click execute or press F5. Step 9. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. To run the query, click execute or press F5. Next. Exercise to working with dynamic management views. Dynamic management views (DMVs) provide several state information that helps them to monitor the database, diagnose, and troubleshoot problems. The DMVs are present in the system schema. The DMVs begin with DN underscore. In this exercise, we will learn to work with dynamic management views. Task 1. Obtain information on weight statistics. When you troubleshoot the SQL Server performance, you must initially check for weight statistics. The weight statistics includes the concepts of quiz and weights. In this task, you will perform the following operations to obtain information on weight statistics using system dm underscore os underscore weight underscore stats dmb and system queries. Determine the list of weight types with the highest total wait time. Determine the high signal weights. Identify the active but black request. Step 1. In the Object Explorer, under System Database, click Master. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. Step 2. To run the query, click Execute or press F5. Step 3. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. Step 4. To run the query, click Execute or press F5. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. To run the query, click Execute or press F5. Task 2. Monitor and analyze storage in I/O issues. In this task, we will use the system DM underscore IO underscore virtual underscore file underscore stats DMV to monitor and analyze storage in IO issues in SQL Server databases. You will perform the following operations by executing the system queries. Determine the busiest file in the database. Determine the amount of data traffic in the database. Monitor the page latch to check the I/O bottlenecks. Step 1. To create a new query in the master database from the query ribbon, click New Query. To run the query, click Execute or press F5. Step 2. To view all the columns in the results set, scroll horizontally from the left to right in the results pane. Step 3. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. To run the query, click Execute and press F5. Step 4. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click New Query. To run the query, click Execute and press F5. Step 5. In the Object Explorer, right-click Lab SQL01. Step 6. The Activity Monitor pane. So click Data File. Notice the details that are displayed. Close the Activity Monitor. To generate the I report in the Object Store, right-click Lab SQL01. From the context menu, Reports, Standard Reports, Performance. The report is generated and displayed. Read and review the report information. Close all the panes. Exercise 3. Working with Memory Manager. The Memory Manager component of the SQL Server dynamically determines the allocation of memory for the database. There are many server configuration options to set up the memory usage, such as index, create memory, min server memory, max, worker treats, min memory per query, and so on. Task 1. Optimize the memory configuration. In this task, you will determine the current memory allocation by executing system queries. You will you will you will set a fixed amount of memory for SQL Server based on the total memory available. You will finally generate a memory consumption report that lists the top memory consuming components in the database. Step 1. In the in the Object Explorer under system date, databases, master, click master. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click new query. To run the query, click execute or press F5. Step 2. To create a new query from the query ribbon, click new query. To run the query, click execute or press F5. In the Club SQL, right-click Club SQL 01. Click Properties. In the Object Explorer, right-click the Club SQL 01. Click Properties. Wait lang. It's not here. Okay. Click Properties. Step for the server properties, Club SQL 01 dialog box appears. Excuse me. In the left pane, under the select page, click Memory. And the left to set the maximum SQL Server memory as 4 GB in the right pane and maximum server memory in MB, box type 4096. Click OK. In the in the object explorer, right click Plug SQL Server Plug SQL 01. From the context menu, click Reports, Standard Reports, Memory Consumption. The memory consumption report is generated and displayed in the right pane. Step 7. To view the memory usage by component, scroll down the memory consumption report pane. Wait. Done. Click Done. Power off the Plab SQL 01. Click, click Exit. That's all for today, sir. Thank you.